If you're a DIYer, you've got some projects around the house that you want to do and you do not have an electrical multifunction tester, that one might just do the trick for you. Today we are going to be reviewing this multimeter from Kaiweets KM200S. S is for small. They actually have got a larger version of this with a few more features. It is currently on Amazon, £14. Why would you need one of those? It's no-brainer. I will tell you why you might go for this one and not actually opt in for one of those traditional ones with a big dial in the middle, because that one has an auto function to detect whether you're measuring a DC currents or AC voltage. So AC is the one that you've got in your sockets and around the house, and DC is the one that you will have from the batteries. If you're crafting like a custom LED around the house, or if you're just checking some batteries at home, or if you're checking the batteries in your car, this will do the trick. So today we're going to be testing this, perform a few tests to show you what's inside the box and what it can do for you. So come and join me to my bench and let's get this started. Here it is. Let's open it up. DC voltage, auto function up to 600 volts. Pretty decent. Counts 4000. Okay, let's see what's inside. Inside we've got a user manual. User manual in all different languages. Cool, brilliant. These are the operating modes. Let's go through it. So what's in the box? In the box we have cables. Okay. You've got color coded so you're not making a mistake. The unit itself and the batteries. And let's get our hands on the unit. Wow, it's actually pretty light, and yeah, it's got this screen. Right. I've got this thing that I do not read, and I'm trying to always see how easy it is to use a common sense to just use it. Straight out of the box, I'm actually struggling to find out the battery compartment. Yeah, I think that's the light. Usually there is a tab or something that tells you how to open this thing. I actually don't know how to put the batteries inside, honestly. The mode, flashlight, on and off, hold button, and backlight for the screen. This is the voltage, is either alternating or direct. That's the sound signal, that's the ohm, and non-contact voltage tester. Right, honestly, I just don't know how to put a battery, so let's find out within. It's brilliant because it doesn't tell you how to put the batteries inside. I'm gonna actually see if I can twist the whole thing. Nope, no, bloody hell. There is a seam going right through it. There is no other compartment that the battery would go into. And I really don't want to damage this thing. Hold on, we're getting somewhere. This is like a soft shell case. I just realized that. It was pretty good actually. Now we're talking.
Oh, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
So for protection, it comes in this not too soft, but quite a good build. Right, okay, we can put the batteries in. That's it. I was almost afraid I'm going to have to take this whole thing apart and break it in the process of it, but here we go. That was nice and easy. Let's put this back in. Okay, that's... if we had a good working tester, we could test the batteries, but yeah. Let's open up again. Have I made a mistake when I put batteries in? I don't think so, but yes I did. Yes I did.
Oh man, what the
Ah. So straight away, the first thing, it went into the auto. By pressing the mode, we are now in auto setting DC and voltage. So let's change the mode. Now we are into AC. We are either in auto mode or AC or DC. So I've not read the instructions really for how to use it. I'm just trying to use the common sense. The cables, as you would know, they're quite short, but they what, 70 centimeters, but they would have some resistance. So let's remove the safety plugs, put them in place. So red one into a red, black into the black. We are into the manual resistance mode. Resistance, if I was to touch both of them, I'm reading 0. That's interesting, actually. and it went down to 0. Okay, cool. So you know, these cables would have a resistance. I just don't know how precise this thing is. 400 ohms, 4 kilo ohms. Okay, so that's what we have. If we would like to, for example, measure the resistance of that cable, so that's what I would like to show you. We are in resistance continuity. I'd like to use the sound feedback. I think that's what... Yeah. This is my favorite function in all of the other tester when I do fault finding. When you are fault finding any electrical installations, and by no means, please don't take this as an instructional video how to do fault finding. I've got other videos on my channel which are dedicated for fault finding, but on this occasion, when I'm checking for a continuity of the cable, like for example this one, I used to buy these cables for LEDs. These are really easy to distinguish which one's which. You know which one's positive, which one's negative. That wouldn't be a problem. Then I started to buy the cables that, like this one, is white, but it has a black distinctive edge on one of the cables, so you can decide white for positive and black one for a negative, and that is pretty good one. I really like that. Only to pick up another roll of cable, and I'm like, okay, what the hell? Where's the marking? And maybe, just maybe, you will see that this edge is nice and smooth, but that one has that tiny little like sharpish edge. Not massively, not very distinguished, but it does. So that's what we can do. And with this sound feedback, it's quite sensitive. So I'm just not moving. I will press that one against the bench. Okay. If you do any movements, yeah, it reads it. So, which is the end of that cable? Yeah. So let's see if we can replace. No, we cannot. Oh, that's a shame. Maybe on a different model we are able to do that. Just about to unclip the lower portion of these test leads, but it looks like we can't do that. These should be a standard fit. So let's see what I have here. I've got these ones. Again, you need to know when you're buying one of those what you're buying it for. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to test this out. Let's get the brown one, and that will confirm whether you can use your own cables. And let's clip both crocodile clips. Yeah, perfect. So just so you know, these are standard connections. You can use your own cables or any other cables. This is a high quality cables. I think this is a Q-Tech. As you can see, I've got some spare. On that occasion, let's clip this end and the other end. Perfect. And now we know. There it is. It doesn't read any resistance, actually, so that's interesting, because that cable would have some resistance, but obviously it's EF. No contact voltage tester. Well, let's try this. Well, it doesn't say, it just say it is. So it's not reading the actual voltage. Right, so what if I hold this? Okay, that lights up the screen. What if I press and hold that button? Ah, you got this little LED. Okay. Back in auto. Right, so in terms of the resistance, you know, it's continuity tester is the one that as electricians use the most when it comes to testing, when it comes to fault finding. Let's do some voltage testing and let's see how it actually performs that way. And we will test our drivers to see if the drivers are performing just like they say. So what do we have here? We've got a 24 volts DC driver and we have also a 12 volts. So let's try them out. Firstly, we need to prepare a supply cable. I've got this thing. Yeah, possibly used to serve an equipment of some sort, but these ends are, if we have to swap them around, we need to solder the ends. Is my soldering iron ready? I would hope so. There it is, that's the one I need. My handy grip.
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
One eternity later.
I'm just going to trim these. Why did I do that? When you go and put the cables into those ports, inside they've got this cage that compresses down on the cable, and if you do this a couple of times, trust me, here there's not much of the good ends that you'll be able to repeat the process without struggling. Okay, Both go in nicely. Screw this down. So we're actually going to test the AC 230 to 40 volts on that side. And then we go on the other side and test DC voltage. Okay, this is going to go in. Hopefully the driver is still good. Auto test. I'm actually surprised that these ends are so exposed. Can I just open the tip? I'll tell you what I mean. On a professional tester like this, when you get a test lead, this is also a requirement of electrical testing gear. So the tip cannot be larger than a couple of millimeter, like here. There will be a case where you will have a tip like this, so it's a very slimline tip, but it's insulated, as you can see, and only a tiny little bit at the end is ready for testing. It's a huge difference. There's 2 zeros at the end of the price between this babe and that one. But anyway, how about if we were to just make this ourselves? Let's try this. There we go. Now we are compliant.
Nice.
Why? Because if you're testing on the back of the tester and you accidentally short circuit, then you might burn either. No. You might blow the fuse inside. Actually, I'm not sure if we can blow it. So that's the important part. Let's touch this. Neutral. Okay, so it says auto 24. Exactly 24. Perfect. What if we swap it round? So we actually use a red to touch the negative part, and here it goes into minus 23.99. Okay, that's how you know you've got polarity the wrong way round. It goes back into auto. That's pretty good. Okay, and now we are actually going on to 230 side. So that is important to have those shrouds. So I've just, look, within a second I improved the equipment. Neutral. So let's touch the neutral. I'm going to touch this from the top and that one from the side. Okay, hold on. AC current. Let's use a manual settings and set this up. 244 volts, as you can see, of AC. Okay. We are going to go back into the auto setting, manual resistance, that's continuity with the audio feed, yeah. Non-contact voltage tester, oh, that's interesting, look. The dots on the screen, alright, hold on actually. I can use also the actual probes for non-contact voltage. And it's showing me, I'm not sure if this is designed that way, but obviously it's transferring, it's reading the voltage, but it's working. I only realized when I've seen 4 dots, so if I get like this without any testing leads, I'm close to the voltage. I've got 1 dot or 1 dash. So if I get, I've got 2. Now I have 2.5, 3. Now I have 4 and flashing fast with audio feed. What if I move it? So it's still flashing, but not as rapidly as the moment ago. Cool. Well, honestly, I think this is pretty good device. Let's go back into the full auto function and see how this will manage between live. I'm going to turn my soldering iron so I'm not burning anything. So again, once again, 240 AC. I'm not changing anything. I'm going to my DC side. 24 volts. So honestly, this is a brilliant device for anyone who's just doing a DIY around the house. You don't have to change the function. You don't have to know what's the lit dial on those old multimeters. Actually, let me show you one of the ones I mean. So that one, as you can see, it has so many little options, so you need to know what they are. This is a pretty standard one. You need to understand what's the voltage range you are within what you're measuring. And this is it. This is just so much more complicated. You might not necessarily know what's the range you are, and using something like this auto function, it'll definitely help you out. So in my opinion, this is pretty great. Very light, very easy, It's got non-contact voltage tester, so many other benefits of it. It's a pretty good little tool in its semi-hard protection case. And that's it off. Cool. It will help you find the voltage on your equipment, on your gear, checking the battery voltage. If you're doing a lots of LED soldering and you're just unsure which end it is, if you're using a tape like this that is quite discreet and with the marking that is barely visible, only ready to attach, then yeah, highly recommend something like that if you've not got one. If you want to make compliant, electrically compliant, then you have to just snip the ends of these protection, and here we go. Overall, pretty decent tool. I may actually give this away to someone on my channel, so please like and subscribe in order to take part in receiving this equipment free of charge from myself. And yeah, Kaiweets KM200S. Pretty good.